Good morning. My name is Esther Manheimer. I'm the mayor of the city of Asheville, and I'd like to welcome you to the February 19th, 2026 agenda briefing work session. All council members and staff are participating virtually. This meeting is intended for discussion purposes only. No formal actions or votes will be taken. In addition, no public comment is taken during this meeting. The live meeting will be streamed on the city's YouTube channel, accessible through the YouTube icon on the city's website or via the live stream. You also have the option to listen to the meeting live via phone by calling 855-925-2801 and entering meeting code 9633. Council and staff, when I call your name, please say a quick hello. Vice Mayor Antoinette Mosley.
Good morning.
Council Member Bo Hess.
Good morning.
Council Member Kim Roney.
Good morning.
Council Member Sage Turner.
Good morning.
Council Member Maggie Ullman.
Hey, everybody.
Council Member Shanika Smith.
Good morning.
Assistant City Manager, Assistant City Manager Ben Woody.
Good morning.
Assistant City Manager Jade Dundas.
Good morning, everyone.
City Attorney Brad Branham.
Good morning.
City Clerk Maggie Burleson.
Good morning.
And we're not going in order of seniority, but City Manager DK Wesley.
Good morning.
Okay, and before I turn it over to the city manager, I know everyone's hearing the news about Costco withdrawing their application to build a Costco in West Asheville. And this might be a case of the perfect killing what is the good for us. But I do want everyone to know I did talk to Costco's representative here, and they wanted to applaud the city and the planning department specifically on their creativity in working with them on the internal aspects of the project. But apparently the requirements that DOT has imposed on Costco to make improvements to Smoky Park Highway are fairly significant. So I don't know exactly what those are. I don't think council does, maybe staff does, but just before this meeting, I did call the Department of Transportation Board's chair and brought this to his attention and asked him to please look into this to see if we can't find some creative solutions on the DOT side as well. So please stay tuned for that. That's disappointing news here today for our city. Okay, with that, thank you for that indulgence. I know it's not on our agenda. I'm turning it over to the city manager, DK Wesley.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning to everyone here and listening. Today, we will be reviewing our agenda in advance of our council meeting on February 24th. As with tradition, staff will review the agenda and lift up any items of specific interest, and council members can also do the same. On the 24th at 3 p.m., we will also have a city council work session on policy, finance, and infrastructure. Today, we'll review that agenda as well. In addition, we'll take a look at our 8-week agenda items going forward that will be coming to council within the next 8-week period. With regard to other items, we do have a closed session planned for after this meeting, which will be facilitated by City Attorney Brad Branham. If nothing else, we'll go ahead and get started. Jade Dundas, Assistant City Manager, will be facilitating this briefing today. So I'll turn it over to Jade.
Thank you, Ms. Wesley. Again, Council, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Jade Dundas, Assistant City Manager. I will just jump right into this. As normal, we'll highlight some things we think are noteworthy and need to be lifted up a little bit. But Council, feel free to stop me if there's anything that we have not reviewed that you feel is important to highlight. As City Manager Wesley mentioned, we're going to start Tuesday's meeting at 3 o'clock with a City Council work session on the policy, finance, and infrastructure. It's a pretty full agenda, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. Moving into the formal meeting at 5 o'clock, proclamations will include a recognition of Black History Month, and then also a recognition of Invasive Species Awareness Week. Moving into the consent agenda, jump down to item F. This is continued work by the Water Department to meet the requirements of the EPA's lead and copper rules, and they'll be doing some investigative work through Chauncey to do potholing, basically just uncovering water services to continue that analysis and that investigative work. Item G is an item to celebrate. This is supporting Buncombe County's participation in the Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditures, or CPACE program. This is a program that provides funding for commercial facilities to make investments in property that have a sustainability focus. Items H and I are both firefighter grant funding. The first one is a FEMA program, and this will be spent on wildland personal protective equipment. So this is providing those out in the field with the additional equipment that they need, and we're continue to invest in the firefighter safety. Item I is a donation that will be put towards the programs and spent on personnel and firefighter initiatives. Item K is a build. It's a build grant. This is the latest version of an FHWA program for similar to Tiger, which is what we used to build the Red River Arts District. Staff had come to council and received authorization to pursue a MPO grant to do a corridor study on Hilliard in preparation for a future budget allocation. Hilliard Avenue is high on our gap sidewalk lists, and so we need to understand what it's going to take feasibility and financially to be able to construct that. The MPO grant was not awarded to the city of Asheville, so we're continuing to pursue options for grant funding, and the build grant is what we're going to investigate at this point. There is a match, and it's similar to what we'd had in the previous suggestion. Item O is reestablishing the work that had been going on for a while now, related to Edwin Place, Celia Place, and Canterbury Drive drainage improvements in North Asheville. This is a necessary improvement. It's through a lot of different complications. It's been delayed. The costs of the actual consulting services and some of the scope have changed. And so this is an amendment to make that contract, to provide financing to that contract where we complete the work. This is Amy Deaton's here to answer any questions if there are questions on that. Yes, Mayor.
So what would be the timeline once we do this?
Amy, could you help that?
Sure. We still have the work remaining to do on this. We still have 2 easements we need to obtain. We need to do the permitting with all the regulatory agencies and then finalize designs. Design is at 90% complete, so we're almost there. It's anticipated to be about another year to work through all of that. Permitting is the largest question mark because you never know how long it's going to take to actually obtain your permits. One of the other pieces of this project too is it was on the list. We did go out for HMGP funding to try to get that. If we are awarded HMGP funding, it could delay this project a little longer because that's on a 2-year window. And we just don't know the time frame for when that HMGP is going to be awarded. But I say all that to say we want to move through finalizing designs and getting this project ready to be bid for construction. And we can wait to see if we're going to receive HMGP funding. If we don't, we still have the stormwater funds to pay for this project, and it will move forward regardless.
Okay, and that makes sense to try to prioritize HMGP whenever we can. However, the one, and I don't know who this question should be for, DK, who are not, but right now on Edwin, we have a barricade blocking the sidewalk, and then there are barricades around the drain at the end of the sidewalk where it meets the road. I mean, just looking at it, it doesn't look so hazardous. You couldn't walk through there. And I mean, are we planning to leave these barricades on the sidewalk on Edwin where there's a lot of walkers and everything for another 2 years? That seems a little.
I can answer that question too. There is an active sinkhole right there. Underneath the road is what we call like a rock arch culvert. There is some erosion underneath that culvert that is causing the sinkhole. We put the barricades up just out of an abundance of caution, so that we don't have pedestrians walking over it or vehicles going over it. We do plan to do a repair to that. We need to go back and assess how best to repair that temporarily, but this project will also address that entire system permanently.
Right. And I get like eventually it will address the whole system permanently. I'm just thinking about from now and for the next 2 years, people just being able to walk there. I mean, it seems like we could take the barricade off the sidewalk and put just kind of something smaller so people know to skirt around it. But because right now like if you're in a wheelchair or using a walker or cane, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what can be done, but it's just,
we will go back and we can go back and look at that. Yes. But we will be making a repair to that area and removing those barricades altogether and not waiting for the 2-year period.
All right, thank you, Amy. Appreciate the questions, Mayor. And so the last item that I'll mention on the consent agenda is item P. It's related to the noise ordinance. You'll hear more about this item in the closed session, but Brad Brandon was able to answer any questions if there are any for now. All right, hearing none. Moving to presentations and reports, we're going to provide, our finance will provide the second quarter financial report, and always exciting capital projects quarterly report by Walter Ear will be the second presentation. So look forward to providing those updates. And then under public hearings, we have a public hearing for the proposed the 2025 through 2029 consolidated plan amendment to add affordable rental construction as a priority need and goal. Ben told me he could help out if there's any questions there. Okay. Hearing none, no unfinished business items. New business, we have a off-cycle fees and charges increase for Aston Park Tennis Center. This is off-cycle due to the need to apply the fees in the season that we're getting ready to open up in. Off-cycle, I'll explain that a little bit, is that we are also going through our fees and charges review, which council will see in the coming months. But this one is, because of the timing of the season, this one needs to be handled in advance of that, the adoption of the whole schedule. So if there's any questions, Chris Oral is available. Okay, hearing none. There is item B is a public comment. This is a routine for the last several years, a routine part of the the budget process, and so that will be open for public comment under new business item B. There are a number of boards and commissions appointments. Council have an opportunity to discuss those at the Policy, Finance, and Infrastructure meeting. That concludes the review of the regular agenda. Any questions? We're happy to answer them. And if not, we can move into the PFI agenda. So you're working to bring that up.
One moment.
Okay, thank you. This is start by saying this is the regular scheduled Policy, Finance, and Infrastructure meeting. It starts at 3 o'clock as a work session in advance of Council's Tuesday meeting. Okay, thank you, Tanya. This is a pretty full agenda, so we've tried to do our best to assign some times to the various topics. We are going to start out by introducing the topic of CDBG DR infrastructure implementation. The Infrastructure Recovery Board saw this presentation or version of this presentation a couple of weeks ago. This introduces the projects that are being suggested to advance to be supported through the CDBG-DR infrastructure funding. So will be Bridget Herring will be presenting on that topic. There's a single audit presentation. This will be co-presented by our audit firm, Cherry Beckert, and Tony McDowell. This is a follow-up to some of the information that's been previously presented, and Tony will provide that follow-up. We also are working hard, item 4, we're working hard to try to ensure that there's the most education that we can have out there related to the budget and the progress that we're making on the city manager's proposed budget this year. And so we've had the item, the budget updates. The finance team will be providing an update on the progress that we've made over the last month or so related to the budget and any additional information that they've received in that time frame. Another item that is I think going to be a significant community interest is the Parkside land holding arts and entertainment facility. Parkside is the parking lot here outside of City Hall on Marjorie. Chris Corr will be presenting on that topic and explaining the work that we're doing with a private partner relationship in order to advance that project. So, Council Member Hess, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Hey, Jade. I am also hoping that in that PFI update on the budget, we can get an update on some of the things like the city-owned property, like the Pit of Despair, and if we have gotten a commercial realtor and if we are looking at selling off some of that to get some of that income. I think I have said that a few times, and I think a couple of other council members have suggested that as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you for that, and we'll certainly take that note and have finance work on that part of the presentation. And then the last item, as I mentioned before, is the board vacancies. There's a link there that will allow you to see all of the vacant positions and the candidates that are interested in helping with fill those positions, and then that will come back to the regular council meeting agenda for a vote and approval. And that concludes the PFI agenda. And then looking at the 8-week look ahead.
Wait, is that your hand still up? Sorry.
Councilmember, yeah, okay, great. Thank you. So as we look ahead, you'll see a common theme throughout the future is the budget work sessions will continue to come back to council and provide information regarding that progress. Specific items of that are noteworthy on the future on the March 10th agenda. There may be some questions about the loan being rescinded or Stewart Street cottages. A couple of, and then the item that we talked about on today's consent agenda, the consolidated plan, the actual adoption of the amendment on March 10th. And then the land hold, that would be the actual official council action on the land hold for the arts and entertainment facility on the March 10th agenda. Yes, Maggie.
I'm sorry, the land hold item has been moved to March 24.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
March 24 will also include, not much there yet, but it will include the adoption of the fees and charges, as I mentioned earlier. That's the regular cycle for the entire fees and charges manual. So there's that, and then yes, Councilmember Roney.
Yes, thank you. I realize that we're asking the community to engage in the budget early on to hear what the priorities are. I can anticipate that a lot of concern will be around the $30 million gap in the expenses and revenue that we're looking at. So what is our answer around when the first draft budget will be public facing?
Tony, or is Tony on the one call?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in, Jade. Tony McDowell, City Finance Director. So, obviously, as we go through the work sessions, we will be bringing you all some key decisions along the way that will allow us to finalize the manager's proposed budget in May. But there won't be a formal draft budget that comes before that. There'll just be, again, those decisions around, spending increases, spending decreases, revenue changes, tax rate, things like that. And again, the draft budget will be the proposed budget that we bring you all in May. But we'll get a lot of input obviously before then.
Thank you.
And I'll just add to that, yes, to what Tony shared, we will be providing an update on that projected imbalance for sure as well. So as we go through the process, you'll be able to see any significant improvements that we've made in that space as we prior to the presentation of the recommended budget.
Bo, is your hand up again?
Yes, Vice Mayor, thank you. I have two questions. One, are we planning on having a budget retreat this year? I know by this time last year, we'd already had that. And my second question is regarding the land hold for the Performing Arts Center. What do we plan on doing to engage the community, especially around Eagle Street and the block? I feel that just talking with folks, this feels pretty sudden, and I'd like to know what our public engagement looks like there.
I'll take the first question and then I'll pass it over. I think Chris Coral is on the call for the second half of that. Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Hess, we are not having the traditional budget retreat at the start of the budget process. What we've done for this year, basically because of the large gap that we have, we've instead decided to have a more of like a educational level setting conversation with you all as we move towards the budget deliberations. Now on the PFI agenda, we will be asking you all questions about budget objectives and the things that you all want us to consider as we build the budget. So to answer your question, we won't have the traditional budget retreat, council retreat for the budget process, but we will be using time during the presentation at PFI to make sure that we are in alignment with your priorities as we develop the budget proposal.
Morning, Chris
Thank you.
Corral, Community and Regional Entertainment Facilities Director. To answer your question, Councilmember Hess, we'll talk a little bit about it on Tuesday at PFI, but the main community and public engagement process was slated to start in May, and 6 to 9 month process. It may push a little bit to June since we're shifting to the end of May for the council step. But right now it's more one-on-one conversations with key stakeholders and leaders in the community around the potential parcel land hold, and that will turn into a bigger community engagement plan. It was a little bit too early because we weren't far enough along to know what's realistic and what's not with the project. And so now we're getting to that point, especially if and when the land hold is agreed to, and then we'll be able to really roll into a community and public engagement process.
Thank you. So what you're saying is that before the community engagement, you're going to be asking us to hold that land?
Correct. Yeah, to help with our process with the EDA grant and our steps with ATG, the private partner in the process. And then we'll roll into engagement. That's really part of what will be a 2-year process as we move through. And the land hold, and Brad can probably help with this a little bit, is like more symbolic than anything in nature. Like there's no teeth to it at all. A future council, whether it's this exact council or a different one, would still have to approve that land in the future before any actual contracts are signed or any movement happens on the actual parcel. It's similar to what we did in 2008 and then extended again in 2013, both of which expired without development.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kim has a question.
Yeah, it's a follow-up to that. I know that over the years, as I've been paying attention, there have been multiple locations considered for a performing arts center in our community. Because this one is in the block, one of the consistent threads that I'm hearing is has the city or the other partners at the table asked the block neighborhood if this is what is desired in the neighborhood, and how it fits in with our boosting the block efforts too. The key word there seems to be where they asked. So I think sometimes we end up in this delay situation because we then have to do this extensive engagement because we didn't ask first. I know there, are always going to be some legal issues and reasons why we move not with community, but in this case, it may be creating an unnecessary problem because we didn't ask. So just wanted to lift up the community concerns about that.
To be fair, I do think there were some conversations that took place. I don't know if they were sufficient, but there were definitely conversations that took place with some folks in the Eastern Valley Street neighborhood, which includes the block. I know that dialogue began, so I don't want to intimate that nothing had happened. Go ahead, Chris. I feel like I interrupted you.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, we had some basic conversations. By no means a year ago. They were like in the last month or so before this was even on the 8-week agenda. It has been in the media numerous times over the last 2-ish years where the media was speculating that this was the site and we were not confirming because we were still working through a site selection process isn't the right words for it, but we had a group that, and we'll talk about this on Tuesday as well at PFI, but we had a group that we said, find us 4 sites downtown. They have to be downtown that's like the only requirement with our partner ATG. They found 4 sites that a arts and entertainment facility like what we were describing could fit. And then through a process of elimination for various reasons, this is the one remaining site that makes sense currently for us without having to go out and purchase land from a private landowner. So that's how we got to this site. And now we're at the point that we're saying this site if this is going to be the site, then we would like to hold the site and then start moving forward with that process. And that doesn't mean it has to be the site. Like if we work through the community and public engagement process and it is clear that like community does not want this here and it needs to be somewhere else, then we know that that's a pump the brakes moment on this, and we can hopefully continue to work with ATG and then work towards finding another site. But in the parameters of we want something that is a move forward without additional city investment, this is the site that makes sense at this time.
That's helpful context. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thanks, Chris. That's very helpful.
All right. And before we leave the 8-week agenda, you don't have to put it back up, Talia. I just, there was questions about the budget. We have touch points on the budget on April 14th, May 12th, and May 26th. Those are, and then the adoption is June 9th. Those are what's on the agenda. Certainly, we'll continue to work on that as the schedule as we go forward. Back to, so that is our last item, is other items and updates, and that is a closed session, as I had mentioned previously in the meeting. So no other items on this agenda, so hand it back over to City Manager Wesley.
Thank you, Jay. Council members, there's nothing additional from staff. I'll turn it over to Vice Mayor Mosel.
Sorry, I'm back too.
I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Okay, so I know we have a closed session. Does everybody have the link to the closed session? I don't know that I have a link to the closed session. Does everybody have a link to the closed session, or is everyone looking now?
I have it.
You do also,
Okay,
Mayor, but it's at 1 o'clock, but I can move the time to now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. No, never mind. I do have it. I thank you for reminding me. It's at 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm good. All right, so if we can adjourn from this meeting, and we'll see everyone in the closed session.
Do I have to read the motion or no?
I think he has to read the motion.
Yeah. Bo, if you could, hopefully we still have enough council members on here to second the motion. Do we still have 4 members? Otherwise, we're going to have to ask them to come back.
Council? I think it's just me and Vice Mayor.
I'll send a text. Hold on.
Okay.
Mayor Manheimer, sorry, Councilmember Hess,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Talia, go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, I just called Mayor Manheimer, so she's rejoining in just a second. And I believe Vice Mayor sent a text message.
Sweet.
And we're back. Okay. All right, we need a motion. We don't have we need one more person.
I see Kim.
Okay. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I move that the Asheville City Council go into closed session for the following reasons. 1, to prevent disclosure of information that is privileged and confidential pursuant to the laws of North Carolina or not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statutes. The statutory authorization is contained in North Carolina General Statute Chapters 143 through 318.11 and the law that makes the information privileged and confidential is North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.10 subsection E. 2, to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the city about matters with respect to which the attorney Client privilege between the city and its attorney must be preserved, including but not limited to the handling or settlement of a claim regarding the following: Heb versus City of Asheville, case number 1:22 CV 0022. 2. The statutory authorization is contained in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11 subsections A3. Do I have a second?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All right, we're going to do a roll call vote. I'll just go around. Vice Mayor Mosley.
Aye.
Councilman Hess.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ullman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Turner.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Smith.
Aye.
Okay, we have the motion passes. We're going into closed session now. We will
Mayor,
leave this
can you
meeting.
tell me who made those? I'm sorry.
Who made the motions? Bo
Yes.
made the motion, and then the second was from Maggie.
Yes.
And who made the motion?
Bo has
Oh,
made the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, bye, everybody.